Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to a new show here at RotoGrinders. It's the Blitz Player Props release show. New show we're looking to do weekly this season. Late start this week. I think we're going to be trying to do this Wednesdays going forward, 3:30 Eastern. Going to be a show you want to tune in live to because we're going to give out some bets here. Lines may move. Make sure that you're getting the best odds available by tuning in live to this show. Let me bring in my co-host here. You know him by various titles, depending on which RG show you're listening to. Kevin Roth gives him some brilliant ones. Alex Dunlap has some as well. But Derek, do you have an official? It's Derek Carty, of course, from the Blitz. Derek, do you have an official title, or do we just go with whatever Roth gives you for the day?
We just go with whatever the other person wants to say. The creator, the curator, the assistant to the general manager, like whatever it is, that's the title for the day.
Absolutely. All right. So I don't know if you want to go just kind of an overview of what the show is, what people can expect. Obviously, we're talking player props for the majority here, but if you just want to go into a little bit more depth about what we're doing here.
Yep. So this show is going to have a sports betting focus. If you haven't done it before, we're going to try to make it really easy for you. The Blitz has crushed player prop markets over the last couple of years that I've been betting them. Basically, we're going to go over a couple picks every show. We're going to tell you where you can find the best line when you're sports betting. It's a game of edges. And so as much as possible, you want to find the best odds. But these are going to be widely available props. You'll be able to find them at basically any book that you have access to. And yeah, we're going to walk you through, the way it works. We're going to kind of go step by step. We're going to tell you, basically, what game we're playing, what market we're playing, what the player is, whether we're doing over or under. At some point, we don't know how this is going to go. It's our first one. But these lines may move. And so we want to make it fair for everybody. And yeah, this should be fun. Hopefully we'll make people some money this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I have used your tools, both the bet and the Blitz, very successfully in sports betting and in DFS. So if anybody is new or needs some further conviction, but yeah, like these are my main projections. I write up a ton of sports bets and things on Scores and Odds for them. Just the best projections in the industry. If you're unfamiliar with what Derek does with projections, it's consensus, I think, pretty much across the industry is that Derek's are the absolute best. So do we just want to go ahead and jump into the first one here, or you got anything else?
Let's do it. Let's jump into the first one.
All right. So the first game we're looking at is actually the Sunday night game. We've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. We've got the Bucs as 2.5-point favorites in this one. Pretty high total in this game, 50.5 points. We have two really fast-paced teams here. Both of them they were actually the two fastest teams in football last season. Could easily see this game going over that 50-point total. The book we are on for this one, we're going to go to the FanDuel Sportsbook here. And we are looking at the quarterback passing yard market. And you should be scroll down. Yep, they're the player passing yards. We are looking at Dak over 262.5 passing yards. Minus 114 is what you can get that at.
Yep. So the Blitz really likes this one. The Blitz is projecting 314 yards for Dak. Like we said, you'll be able to find this number, or you'll be able to find Dak's passing yards at any book, but FanDuel is kind of out of line with the rest of the market. Everywhere else that I've seen is about 270 or even 272.5 passing yards. And Dak here at 262 is out of line with the market, and the Blitz really likes the over here. Like Keith was saying, it's going to be a fast-paced game. It's in a dome. There's some concern because the Cowboys are, without Amari Cooper, without Michael Gallup, who's he going to throw to? But this is still an elite quarterback in an elite spot. They're under, slight underdog, so they might be forced into passing more in the second half. So I really like this one.
Yeah, I love this game environment. Completely on board with the over here for Dak, even though he's short on some receivers. Just an example of why doing the show earlier in the week might be beneficial for us here is one of the props I'm on this week is Tony Pollard over receiving yards with some of those receivers missing in Dallas. He's shown a propensity to be he's a very talented pass catcher. I bet this earlier in the week at 14.5 receiving yards, took the over on that. It's up to 20.5 in a lot of spots now. Still a little value on that because the Blitz hasn't projected for 23.8 receiving yards. But earlier in the week, you could have got that number at 14.5. So like that, it's an example of how the value can shift throughout the week.
Yeah. And that's exactly why we're going to put this show on Wednesdays. So we're trying to hit these lines earlier in the week to get as most value as possible. Today, we're throwing one out on Saturday when the lines have already moved. They're already pretty efficient. But there's still some decent ones out there. But yeah, we're definitely going to go earlier in the week because sports betting is about edges and it's about finding the best lines. And you can find them earlier before sharp people bet on them and move them.
Absolutely. All right. Shifting gears over to our next game here. We're looking at the game in Chicago. We've got the San Francisco 49ers traveling in to take on the Bears. You've got the Niners as huge favorites in this one, 6.5 points, 7 points in some spots. And this is the other end of the spectrum here. We've got a total all the way down at 40.5 points. You have two of the slowest teams in football, both projected to be fairly run heavy this season, young, inexperienced quarterbacks on both sides. You could argue plenty of upside from either of the quarterbacks, but probably takes a little while for him to get adjusted here. First full seasons as full-time starting quarterbacks. So this one is actually available in a couple of different places at the same line. Looks like DraftKings has it available at the best line, and Bet Rivers as well. Another one that has this -115 line that we were looking at. We are again going to the quarterback passing yards market, and we are actually on the under in this spot. Mentioned the pace of this game, and both of these teams leaning a little bit run heavy. We are looking at Trey Lance under 207.5 passing yards, -115 here on DraftKings.
Yep. We actually have over up on the screen, but the under is the play. This is a spot where there is a little bit of uncertainty that we're still waiting on some news on, but the Blitz right now is projecting about 150 passing yards for Trey Lance here. And there's a few reasons for that. One, there's uncertainty about whether George Kittle is going to play, and it's looking more likely than not that he's going to sit. So right away, that's going to hurt Trey Lance. Like Keith was saying, these are two run-heavy teams, the Niners in particular, and this projects as the second slowest paced game of the week. So there's just not going to be a lot of play volume to begin with. A lot of that play volume is going to be shuffled into running for the Niners, especially because they are, basically full touchdown favorites. And then there's also weather concerns, which Vegas lines really don't bake in very, very well. Right now, it's calling for close to 20 mile per hour winds, and potentially very heavy rain. That's the part where there's some uncertainty. We don't know exactly what the rain is going to be like right now, but it is looking like a pretty decent chance for some rain. So between wind, between rain, between slow pace, between Kittle being out, there's just a lot not to like here about Trey Lance's passing yards, in addition to him just being, a young quarterback who's not all that good yet at throwing the ball. He's exciting for fantasy because he can run, but in terms of his, passing ability, it's not quite there yet.
Yeah, completely on board here. Another thing to factor in, the 49ers are massive favorites here. If they're up by double-digit points, they're not going to risk Lance throwing the ball all over, especially if it's a little bit windy. They love to run the ball anyway. They're just going to lean on that running game. He may see under 20 pass attempts in this one, so definitely like that one. All right, let's see here. Moving on to the next one, we are going out west. We have an exciting matchup here between AFC West teams.
Oh, looks like we got the line to move, -125.
Oh, all right. So a couple of people probably betting that right now. See it live in action. There you go. All right. So the next one we have out here in Los Angeles, we have the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. We've got the Chargers as 3.5-point favorites at home here. Another big total in this one, 52.5 points. This is one of my favorite games of the week. Sports betting, DFS, all kinds of things. Love the offense on both sides of this game. Blitz actually has this as the fastest game of the week. We talked about Dallas and Tampa Bay being the two fastest teams last year, but the Raiders and Chargers, the way they match up here, should be plenty of offense in this one. The Blitz loves the pace in this game. The Chargers added to their defense, bringing in Khalil Mack. They also signed J.C. Jackson as a cornerback. He is actually out for this game. So a key secondary member missing for the Chargers. You've got the Raiders side of this, and they added Devontae Adams to an already extremely talented Darren Waller and a massively underrated Hunter Renfrow. I am extremely excited about Derek Carr's prospects this year. Derek, I saw your tweet earlier today. I know that you are pretty excited about this Raiders offense as well. So we are again sticking with the quarterback passing yards market. The book we are on is MGM. And we are looking at Derek Carr to go over 265.5 passing yards. We had it at minus 116 just a little bit ago. Looks like it's moved to minus 120 now. Derek, are you still okay with this play at minus 120?
Yep, I'm still good with it there. But again, I mean, it's nice that it shows, we're maybe on the right side of the market here, because the Blitz is projecting, oh my God, the Blitz is projecting 325 yards for Derek Carr. This is a massive difference. And there, like you kind of said, there's a lot to like here. It's going to be a fast-paced spot. It's another one where it's in the dome. They added a lot. I mean, this is just going to be a good offense. Like, Derek Carr is an underrated quarterback to begin with. He's an above-average quarterback. He has Waller. He has Renfrow. Now he has Devontae Adams to throw to. No wind, fast pace. This is just a really good spot where the Blitz sees him putting up quite a few more yards than the books do.
Yeah, this is one I was on early in the week, and I'm surprised that it hasn't moved more than it has. Jim Steele just posted in the chat there that it's at 250. What was that? 261.5 on Prize Picks. I was on the morning grind. Yeah, I was on the morning grind with Stevie earlier this week, and that was the Prize Picks post that I gave out. It was down at 256.5. So it has moved a little bit, but we're on it at 265.5.
The screen here shows, you look at the line move column, like it has been moving up at a lot of books this week, but not nearly enough.
Yeah, we're still well within the range of significant value here. So, like I said, just very surprised that this one hasn't kind of come up even more than it has. I think a lot of people respect that Chargers defense, but the Raiders are certainly going to be able to put up points this year, and I think their weakness on defense also plays into that. Like, the Chargers aren't going to have any problems putting up points. The running game isn't very strong for Las Vegas. I think they lean heavily on Derek Carr in this passing game.
Yeah, I mean, they've talked so much about, or the speculation all offseason is how much they don't like Josh Jacobs. Like, who else are they going to
cut? Kenyon Drake. Like,
like they don't even have anyone to really run the ball with. And we didn't even mention they have new coaching this year, which should be just an upgrade in terms of play calling and efficiency and everything else. And I think you're probably right that the Chargers defense plays into this a little bit. And that's really one of the edges that we can find against books a lot of times, because defense is like the noisiest part of all of this. Like, we go into seasons thinking we know who the good defenses are. And a lot of times we're completely wrong. Last year, everyone thought the Washington football team was going to be like this elite defense. And that wasn't true. Like, there's so much uncertainty with this that when you're actually like projecting a defense out, they're all going to project closer to the center than reputation. So, it's just one more reason why, there can be edge here.
Absolutely. Anything else that you want to touch on or go over for the people?
Yeah, I mean, so these are just, three props. We picked 3 passing yard props to make it very easy to start with. But for all the same reasons, there's other stuff in these games that looks good, like Hunter Renfrow's receiving yards prop I thought looked pretty good. I thought the under on the receiving yards props in basically any any of the pass catchers in the San Francisco game, even the ones on the Bears side, because of that weather component and the slow paced nature of it. If you want to bet the under, I think Ayuk's under looked good and Mooney's under looked good and quite a few of them. So, it's, when you have wind and rain, it's just going to hurt the passing game of everybody.
Absolutely. I think we could take a couple minutes here just to kind of show off some of the tools that we have available as well. I do a lot of stuff for Scores and Odds, and they have some of the best tools in the industry as far as comparing lines, shopping props, where you can find these best prices. So right here, what Devin has pulled up, you just see a quick overview of the lines, who's favored in the game and things like that. If it's on the spread right now, you can switch that to the total and you can see a quick snapshot of all of the totals from every single game this week. Very quickly identify where the high total spots are, where you might be looking for an over, where the low total spots are, you might be able to find an under. So just a really handy snapshot. And then if you go to the player props tool, it's just a really quick snapshot of where the best line is at. You see it featured on the front there. If you click that odds compare right there, then you see multiple sports books with all of the lines. PointsBet is not a book that's available in a lot of states, but as you see here, this best line for the Mahomes passing yards is the over. The best spot to bet that would be at PointsBet. You can see that by the highlight there. If you were looking at the under on Mahomes, it would be over at BetMGM there. Quick, very easy snapshot of where you can find the best line. And it actually links to that book too, if you click directly on that. So just a quick and easy way to search for the best line and then get to the book that you want to bet it. Derek, I know obviously the Blitz projections are fueling all this. EV Analytics, you have a fantastic tool to kind of compare all of these player props. And it's a really awesome snapshot of where you can find an edge and expected value just throughout all of the markets.
Yeah, absolutely. Over at EV Analytics, you can do a similar thing. You can see the Blitz's projection and you can compare it across a number of books to find where the best lines are, where what the difference is between the over and under and the Blitz's projection. You can sort it, you can filter it. Just lots of cool ways to kind of compare. So like Miles Sanders is up on the screen. The implied projection, the over and unders are like 47.5 and the Blitz is projecting 46.5. Probably don't want to bet on Miles Sanders, but you can play around with this. You can filter it. You can find where the biggest differences are. Guys like Carr, guys like Dak, guys like Lance. And, you can see, we're going to give out a couple plays a week, but there's always going to be tons and tons of good ones that you can bet on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we give out the three top ones or whatever, but there are probably 20, 30 positive expected value bets that you could place. Devin, if you scroll all the way over to the right, there's actually a little grade, and then click on that Blitz expected value. That is just a really quick way to kind of, there you go. You can see all the bets that have positive value on them. So just a really quick way to sort and find things that you might have some interest in betting.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, Derek, I don't have anything else. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on before we close it out for the week?
No, I think that's good. I think this was very successful. I think it was a lot of fun. We got a line to move already, without even a lot of promotion for the show. So, that's always really nice. Next Wednesday, we should be back and, hopefully we'll keep growing and we'll have some winners under our belt.
Yeah, absolutely. So Wednesday at 3:30, we'll be live on the show next week. And like you said, the lines move a lot more during the week. At this point, there's so much action down at these books. So seeing that DraftKings number move was actually very surprising
today. Yeah.
Right. Yes. But we do anticipate once we get going here and we have a little bit more viewership and things like that, and this show gains some traction with these plays, after we bet them, the lines will more than likely move. So watching the show live is definitely a fantastic idea. Early in the week, the lines move much faster because there isn't as much action on either side. So definitely make sure.
They're so much more inefficient to start with. So we're going to find some really good numbers.
Yep, absolutely. All right, that will do it for us this week. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We look forward to a very profitable NFL season. Cannot wait for the week 1 to kick off in its entirety tomorrow. But thanks for joining me, Derek. This should be a really fun show going forward weekly, Wednesdays at 3:30. Make sure you guys tune in next week on Wednesday. Thank you, everybody.